days to opening day when the Blue Jays begin their defense of their American League East Division crown. The Yankees are in Dunedin. It's spring training baseball. Welcome to Florida as the spring training dates are winding down. The Blue Jays and the Yankees will play here at the Florida Auto Exchange Stadium. It'll be the final TV broadcast from Florida of the spring. Hello, everybody. I'm Buck Martinez along with my partner, Pat Tabler. And, Pat, baseball is always trying to figure out what's the best formula to win, and baseball is always looking for trends. And right now the trend seems to be to beef up the bullpen.
It's a copycat league, baseball. Like major sports, you copy what successful teams have done, and the Kansas City Royals certainly have done that, winning the World Series by having a deep and very dominant bullpen. The New York Yankees do that for sure with Miller, Betances, and Chapman, the big three, if you will. They're powerful arms. They come in and they strike out a lot of batters in tough situations, but the big three cannot pitch every single day. I think the four other guys that will form that bullpen for the Yankees are going to be very important.
They have power arms. They had a great bullpen a year ago, and it's even better. Well, the Blue Jays had a good back end of the bullpen last year with Osuna and Cecil, and they have added to their mix as well.
With Drew Storen, throw him in the mix, and a lot of jobs up in the Blue Jays bullpen also. Not real sure who's going to be the closer. I think the Blue Jays know who's going to close games at the back end of the bullpen. But just like the Yankees, the four other guys are going to be very important, I think, for the Blue Jays also. They have 7 guys now for those last 3 spots in that bullpen. It's going to go down to the wire here the last week.
Well, there's still a lot of questions to be answered about that bullpen, and for more on that, let's check in with our Barry Davis.
Well, Buck, those questions that were there on day 1 of spring training remain, and we have just a week to go. And the big person that we talk about from day 1 is Aaron Sanchez. Where will he wind up? Well, the numbers he's put up so far this spring clearly say that he is ready to join this rotation. He has pitched 19 strikeouts in 20 innings of work, given up just 3 earned runs, and has only walked 3 batters. But the Blue Jays are still trying to decide where does he fit better, as a starter or as a reliever. This will also affect Gavin Floyd and a few other dominoes. Spoke to Ryan Tepera today. He says he's waiting to find out where Aaron Sanchez fits, because that will affect where he may fit coming this season.
The big question is, what's more important, the rotation or the bullpen? We'll resolve that here in spring training. Marcus Stroman will be the opening day starter. Yankees and Blue Jays coming right up. Welcome back to sunny Dunedin, Florida. It's 27 degrees and humid here in Florida. While back home in Toronto, just 2 degrees. And the Blue Jays are anxious to get up north and get the regular season underway. Jay Happ is set. Aaron Hicks is in the batter's box. Here's the first pitch of the game. And he cuts on it, a tentative swing, and he fouls it out of play.
Isn't that the truth, Buck? We had a chance to sit around the batting cage today and talk to some of the players, and to a man, every one of them said it's time to get the regular season started. Including
Joe Girardi, Alex Rodriguez, and Mark Teixeira. They have had enough of Florida. Happ is ahead, 0-1. Upstairs, a ball on the string. This is Aaron Hicks. He was acquired from the Minnesota Twins in an off-season deal. He's been one of those top prospects in the Twins organization for a number of years.
Well, always liked Aaron Hicks. He's got some tools.
Deep drive to left field that he has just put the Yankees on the board. A first-inning home run for Aaron Hicks.
And he's going to show off some of those tools very early. Jay Happ looked like he tried to slip a fastball by Aaron Hicks. He's got some pop. He can run. I think he's going to fit in quite nicely with the New York Yankees.
Well, let's take a look at the rest of the lineup for the Yankees. Joe Girardi in his 9th season with New York. The Yankees a year ago hit 212 home runs. That was good for 4th in the American League. The veteran Carlos Beltran just 8 home runs away from 400 for his career. A terrific switch hitter with lots of power. He's had a terrific season, and he's had a good spring. Happ gets ahead with a strike. He jams a Beltran here, and David Adams will play it on a hop as he was in the shift. Beltran thrown out. Now it's time for the starting pitches. It's brought to you by Scott's Turf Builder Green Max Lawn Food. Get a deep green lawn in just 3 days.
Jay Happ will get the start this afternoon for the Toronto Blue Jays. There are his numbers in this spring. Just his 3rd appearance. He's also thrown a couple of times down in the minor league complex. Jay figured something out last year. Finished 2015 on a very high note. Looking to carry that over here in 2016. A little bit more aggressive with that fastball.
Finished up very strong with the Pirates after the trade from Seattle. Alex Rodriguez always creates a lot of emotion when his name is announced at a ballpark. A-Rod hitting 300 for the spring. And misses down the stairs.
Did anybody see 33 home runs for Alex Rodriguez last year?
No. He had a terrific season and really surprised everybody except himself. He felt good coming into the spring last year.
Well, remember, he missed half of 2013, all of 2014, and at his age, everybody thought, well, that's it for Alex Rodriguez. He fooled everybody.
33 homers, 86 RBIs while hitting 250 for the Yankees. Serves primarily as the DH. That's where he's at today in Joe Girardi's lineup.
You know what else he did last year for the New York Yankees? He had their highest on-base percentage for him.
356 for the season. 3-1 pitch. There's a pitch on the corners.
You know, when you look at Alex Rodriguez, you don't scream on base percentage, especially with that production that you got from him. With 356, that's outstanding.
Full count pitch to Rodriguez. He gets jammed and flares it down the right field line. That is a foul ball. Pat, I talked to Alex about the shifts, and he said, I don't mind the shifts at all because I can handle a bat.
Well, you could see he was trying to do it right there with 2 strikes on a 3-2 count. The Blue Jays were in a shift. They have David Adams, the second baseman, behind second base. He's shifted over just a little bit now. But Alex Rodriguez can handle the bat. Part of that on-base percentage by being able to handle the baseball bat.
Another 3-2 pitch. And miss. Jay Happ strikes out Rodriguez. 2 down. Let's take a look at the defense behind Jay Happ. Blue Jays have had a terrific spring in the field, committing just 8 errors all spring long. It's Brown, Carrera, and Bautista in the outfield. Burns, Meyer on the left side, Adams and Smoke on the right side, and Josh Tolley handles Jay Happ here this afternoon. This is the switch hitting first baseman, Mark Teixeira. Teixeira, he too, like Rodriguez, had a good home run season a year ago. Pulls this one on the ground, 2-hopper to Gio Meyer. Jay Happ gives up a leadoff home run and retires the next three. 1-0 New York. One nothing New York. John Gibbons, the skipper of the Blue Jays, has seen his team put together a pretty good spring. 15 wins on the spring. They had another tie last night against the Phillies, 4-4 in 9 innings. Take a look at the lineup for the Blue Jays. Carrera, Brown, Bautista, and then Justin Smoke at first base. He's had a good spring. 12 for 33 with 4 homers. Smoke trying to recapture that stroke he had last year, and same for Chris Colabello. 13 for 41. That figures into a .317 batting average, 5 extra base hits, and 3 RBIs for the DH Chris Colabello.
Starting to sting the ball just a little bit harder as we wind down spring training. Brian Mitchell will get the start this afternoon for the New York Yankees. 24 years old. This is his 5th appearance and his 3rd start. He is a former 16th round draft pick of the Yankees in 2009 out of high school in North Carolina. He's got good stuff. He's trying to make this team in the bullpen. He's got a live arm, good fastball, good breaking ball. Shows more consistency with his curveball. Blue Jays are going to have to sit on that breaking ball with 2 strikes this afternoon.
Take a look at the defense in left field. It's Cesar Pello, Aaron Hicks in center. The Gold Glover is in right. That's Carlos Beltran. Ref Snyder, Cosma, Torres, and Teixeira around the infield. Behind the plate is Austin Romine trying to hook on as the backup catcher.
He's a former 2nd round draft pick in 2007. Parts of seasons, the last 3 seasons in the major leagues. It looks like he's going to begin this season as the backup catcher, and that would be the first time in his young career that he would make a team out of spring training.
Brian Mitchell is set. Ezequiel Carrera steps in, takes one upstairs for a ball. Carrera has had a good spring despite the numbers. He made some good plays. He's playing well in the outfield. And the Blue Jays know what he can do.
Yeah, they saw him last year, and I think today's a big day for him. A lot of the regulars played in last night's game over in Clearwater. They're not even at the ballpark today, so Carrera will get his shot in center field. If he makes this team, it's going to be as a 4th outfielder. You know, a 4th outfielder has to be able to play center field.
Both he and Junior Lake, the 2 candidates for that 4th outfielder's position, play center field. Chopped off home plate. Mitchell makes a nice play of it and makes a strong throw to Teixeira as Carrera is thrown out. Good play by Brian Mitchell.
There is that big curveball that I talked about with 2 strikes. He shows some athleticism right here off the mound as he catches that high bouncer on the short hop and then has enough arm strength to throw it off that back leg. That's all arm strength right there over to Teixeira at first base.
Brian Mitchell, as Pat mentioned, a 16th round draft pick. He's just 24 years old. He's got a big arm. And this is one of those guys that Girardi was talking about the bridge guys in the bullpen. This is Dominic Brown, who's playing in left field this afternoon. Brown for the spring just 4 for 20. That's a 731. Hitting .226 for the spring.
He's an imposing figure in that batter's box, isn't he?
He fills it up.
Fills it up. 6'6", spread out in that batter's box, and he's got some power if he can lift the ball.
Bouncing ball up the middle. They were playing him to pull. That's Pete Cosma, former everyday shortstop for the Cardinals, making a good play.
Well, that's something that you'll get with Brian Mitchell. That fastball that you talked about, it's a good fastball. Mid-90s, but he's got very good sinking action on it. And when he is riding that thing, he's going to get a lot of ground ball outs.
This is Jose Bautista, who's been knocked out of the lineup the last couple of days with a stiff neck. Jose has a couple of home runs this spring. That's a first pitch breaking ball in there. How do you like Bautista at the plate so far this spring?
Seen some good things. You see the numbers, the power numbers, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. Felt like he didn't have a very good round of batting practice, and he was blaming it on the Sportsnet media standing around the batting cage this morning. Obviously just having a lot of fun with the guys.
Too much pressure you guys causing down there. Another breaking ball.
You're messing up my swing watching me here.
Well, Jose, there was about 6 million people watching you last year when you hit the home run at Rogers.
So a couple guys in spring training on an afternoon in March isn't going to matter, is it?
2 outs. Down and away.
He was also not real sure what group he was hitting it. Edwin Encarnacion got the hit today on the field, and he was ribbing Edwin, saying that he was in the wrong group, and Edwin was saying, no, you're in the wrong group. Always having some fun around that batting cage.
That's off the end of the bat. Aaron Hicks backed up, reacting to the big swing. Now he comes in, makes a running catch. 3 up, 3 down. Brian Mitchell threw the bottom of the first.
Brought to you by Scott's Turf Builder Grass Seed with Water Smart Plus coating. Grows grass quicker and thicker. Guaranteed.
Easter Sunday tomorrow, and a lot of fans getting their good day in the sun, kicking back with a good book, sitting on Clearwater Beach. There's a big crowd here on hand, and the Blue Jays have done a good job of selling out this ballpark all spring long. Jay Happ to Austin Romine. Pat, you mentioned Romine's in competition to back up Brian McCann.
Gary Sanchez, a big prospect for the New York Yankees, came into camp the favorite to be Brian McCann's backup. But that went south after he went 1 for 21 this spring, and they sent him out last week, and now it looks like Austin Romine will be the backup to Brian McCann.
Well, Joe Girardi was a 15-year veteran behind the plate. He understands the value of that catcher. He's got to be able to catch and throw, but you'd like to see a hit every once in a while. This is chopped foul.
Hitting a little bit this spring at 273.
Carlos Corcoran, we'll see later on today. He's a switch hitting catcher. He will also catch in this ball game today. He and Romine are the two guys that are battling out for that spot behind McCann. One and two. Jay Happ with the breaking ball. Romine checked his swing.
One of the improvements that Jay had, as we talked about after he got traded to the Pittsburgh Pirates last year, he had 11 starts, threw 63 in the third inning, had 13 base on balls. That's an excellent ratio. One of the reasons why he used his fastball just a little bit more.
Bouncing ball up the middle. Gio Meyer to his left quickly unloads a strike. 1 down.
That was a tricky little hop from Meyer right there. He handled it easily. Showing some quick feet and some soft hands out at shortstop.
Gio Meyer adds a lot of depth. He probably plays shortstop at AAA Buffalo, and he looks like he could play in a short stint in the big leagues if you need him. Former #1 pick of the Houston Astros. Rob Refsnyder, who's playing at third base this afternoon. Refsnyder last season made 12 starts for the Yankees at second base. His first taste of the big leagues. Jay Happ's throwing a lot of strikes early.
Quality strikes, too. Staying on top, driving that ball to the lower parts of the strike zone. The only mistake was the Aaron Hicks pitch that he knocked out of the ballpark.
First innings have been a problem for Jay Happ. He's given up 26 regular season first inning home runs, and his ERA is over 5 during the first inning. So Hicks ambushed him in the first. Outside. Jay Happ is now 33 years old, and Pat, for some reason, it seems as though it takes left-handers a little bit longer to get everything together.
I was thinking the same thing this morning when I was looking at Happ's career.
It's off the end of the bat. Another test for Meyer, and he answers.
First time through this organization, when Jay Happ came here, he was spraying that fastball all over the place. He just could not command it. Once he started harnessing that and then realizing that he can get a lot of outs with a well-placed fastball, I think his career has taken off.
Jay, for his career against the American League East, has an 11-10 record with ERA just over 4. So he knows what it's like to pitch in the AL East. And he signed quickly, becoming a free agent early in November. He signed with the Blue Jays on the 27th of November, got a nice 3-year deal.
I think it's going to turn out as a very astute signing by the Toronto Blue Jays. They needed someone to fill out that rotation after the departure of David Price to Boston and the retirement of Mark Burley. They didn't have a left-hander.
Blue Jays have had a good spring as far as the depth of their pitching staff. Andy Burns, he's had a good spring as well. Another good play in the field. Doesn't make any difference where you put Andy Burns. He comes up with some stellar defense. The Blue Jays defense has been good all spring long. This time it's Andy Burns at third, making a nice diving stop and throws to first.
Fans, for the first time since 1993, the Blue Jays are American League East champions, and on April 10th, the first 20,000 fans at Rogers Center will receive a 2015 AL East Division Championship pennant. It's the Blue Jays and Red Sox at 1:07 p.m. It's presented by Honda, and you can go to BlueJays.com for tickets. And Buck, I imagine a lot of Blue Jay fans are hoping next year at this time we're advertising the World Series pennant giveaway.
That seems like the natural progression, Barry. The Kansas City Royals did that. Hopefully, the Blue Jays can do the same. This is Justin Smoke. Smokey's had a big spring. 4 home runs, 6 RBIs. And he pounded one over the wall in left as a right-handed hitter a couple of days ago. Last year, 18 homers, 59 RBIs, and under 300 at-bats. Pretty potent combination they have over at first with Smoke, Colabello, and Encarnacion.
Yeah, I like that he did not sit on his laurels in those home runs from last year. He wanted to get better, so he has put some work in this offseason to be a little bit more balanced at the plate.
Pulls that one off the end of the bat. That's Cosma on the second base side of the bag. One down here, bottom of the second. So Chris Colabello will step in. He's the DH here this afternoon. Colabello for the spring, batting .317. Looking for his first home run of the spring. He's hit 3 doubles, actually has 2 triples. No home runs. So he needs a homer for the cycle in the spring.
When was the last time that happened? 2 triples? He can hit. I was watching him in batting practice today, and he's starting to turn it up that little, just a little bit more in that swing. The ball's jumping off of his bat.
Cosma's been a busy guy at short. This time he's on the shortstop side of the bag and throws out Colabello.
Hitters will do that the last week of spring training. They'll work on stuff the first couple of weeks. They'll try and go to the other way, or they might want to sit on some curveballs. But that last week of spring training, they're starting to get into game shape. And they're going up there, excuse me, Bucket, thinking about game situations and having a plan.
And then, too, they're facing pitchers who are getting ready and starting to feature all their pitches. This is the third baseman, Andy Burns.
You know what the best part of the last week of spring training is? You might get there's a really good chance that you're going to face that pitcher 2, maybe 3 times if you can get through it. Early in the spring training, it seems like you have 4 at-bats in a game and you will face 4 different pitchers.
I think the players would tell you the best thing about the last week of spring training is that it's the last week of spring training. 1-1, 2 outs, breaking ball, bounced, foul.
Brian Mitchell is making a bid to make this team, isn't he?
Yeah, he sure is. He's throwing the ball well, and he always has had a good arm. It's just the fact that he hasn't had command of his pitches.
And now he is starting to harness that good curveball and that sinker. You can see the life on it. Blue Jays have only had 1 ball in the air, and that was Bautista in the first inning.
Just off the plate outside. Brian Mitchell, like so many pitchers in the major leagues now, using a very abbreviated windup, if you will, almost like he's throwing out of the stretch. Nobody on, of course.
And you know it's going to make it difficult having to deal with that pitch right there, that breaking ball.
Brian Mitchell off to a good start. He's retired the first 6 he's faced here this afternoon.
Fans, a couple of double headers featured in our Hockey Night in Canada schedule tonight. 5 games in all. It's the Rangers and Canadians, followed by the Blackhawks and Flames on Sportsnet. On CBC, you can watch the Bruins Leafs, followed by the Oilers and Kings. And then on City, there's the Ducks and the Senators. More choices tonight on Hockey Night in Canada. Buck?
Lots of great hockey coming up as the season is beginning to wind down. Everybody trying to make a push for the playoffs, and it's tonight on Hockey Night in Canada. This is Pete Kozma, the shortstop. Kozma was the everyday shortstop for the Cardinals in 2013. He played 139 games and kind of fell out of favor kind of quickly over there.
And got out of the Cardinal organization very quickly. The Yankees are going to do something very interesting when it comes to putting their team together here the last week of spring training. Didi Gregorius is the shortstop. Starlin Castro is going to be the starting second baseman. When we talk about an infielder, that extra infielder, you have to be able to play shortstop, right? Everybody wants him. They're going to have Castro as the backup shortstop, so they're really looking for a backup second baseman, a guy who can play second and third when they need to give Chase Headley some time off.
It's not unlike what the Blue Jays do with Ryan Goins. If Tulowitzki is out of the game, Goins will play short, and they'll put Darwin Barney at second.
That's exactly right. Usually you want that one guy who can play the middle of the diamond, but Yankees and the Blue Jays thinking outside the box and having the athlete at second base who can play shortstop.
0-2 pitch to Kozma. Strike 3 call. Jay Happ with another strikeout. His second of the afternoon.
That was the pitch right there that really took off for Jay, being able to hammer that ball on the inside part of the plate and freezing that right-handed batter. They give up on it, puts it in a good spot. He was looking for the off-speed pitch, and Jay crossed him up through a fastball.
Jay Happ can rack up some strikeouts. You don't really think of him as a strikeout pitcher, but he's had 4 career double-digit strikeout games, and his career high is 12 strikeouts. Came back in 2014 against the Orioles.
Wasn't he the guy, and I have to look this up, against the Texas Rangers?
6 in a row.
That's it.
August 17th, 2012 at Rogers Center. He struck out Beltre, Michael Young, David Murphy. That was the top of the second. This is bounced up the middle. David Adams, the former Yankee, goes to first.
So you did my homework for me.
Then he struck out Soto, Gentry, and Mike Olt. 6 straight strikeouts in that game.
Plays in that fastball. I remember doing that game with you. He was putting it where he needed to. This is Jay Happ's 2015 season. You can see with the Mariners. Interesting, in a pitcher's ballpark, does not have a very good earned run average. With the Mariners, goes over to the Pirates in the National League, and he was dealing. Look at the strikeouts, almost 10 per 9 innings.
He just wasn't making very good pitches while he was pitching with Seattle. He was up in the zone, and the home runs were a problem for him. But then when he went to Pittsburgh in the midst of a pennant race, hooked up with Ray Searage, who gets a lot of credit for being a terrific pitching coach. Happ had allowed 13 home runs with the Mariners in just 109 innings, and then just 1 in his first 34 with the Pirates. Aaron Hicks bounces this one to third. Good play by Hicks. Burns throws him out. Good inning for Jay Happ. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to the bottom of the third. 1-0 New York. Blue Jays have yet to play a game in spring training, and for more on that, let's check in with Barry Davis.
Well, Buck, every day goes by, people ask me what's going on with Devin Travis. Well, I had a chance to speak to him this morning, and he's in great spirits as he always is. He says the latest on him right now is he's taking some dry swings with both hands. He's swinging off a tee with one hand, but more importantly, he's back out in the field. And we saw him here this morning on the field, fielding some ground balls, making some throws to first base. He's got a long way to go. There's no doubt about that. Even when he is ready to resume full baseball drills, we need a full spring training out of him before you'll see him back in action. The good news, though, Buck, is that nothing seems to be going in the wrong direction. It's progressing slow but sure, and at some point this year, we should probably see Devin Travis back in a Blue Jay uniform.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because he was off to a great start when he was injured in Cleveland on that one-hop line drive in shallow right field.
You know what you see from him as you see him around the clubhouse? One down. You see a sense of relief, I think, on the face of Devin Travis, that they have finally figured out what the injury, the problem was in that shoulder. He had a couple of exploratory surgeries, and they finally got it right, and now he's on an upward trend.
Well, he's always been upbeat, but he has been really smiling a lot because he knows he's getting better. And there was a time when last year was so frustrating because he didn't improve. He saw a host of different doctors, got a lot of different opinions, and nobody could really get to the bottom of it.
But once you figure it out, once you find out what it is, you can attack that problem, and that's what he is doing.
Catcher Josh Tolley. Josh, a year ago, hit .204. Tolley made 15 starts for the Blue Jays. Russell Martin started the season catching R.A. Dickey, and that didn't prove to be effective for Dickey or Martin.
Yeah, it was good for Josh Tolley. After he came up, he became the personal catcher. He does such a good job with the knuckleball pitcher. This must feel like an off day for him.
Catch a conventional pitcher, certainly you don't have to think about that butterfly trying to flag it down. 3-0, Mitchell behind Tolley. There's a strike on the corner. Blue Jays haven't had a base runner yet.
Well, you can say that against Brian Mitchell for a while now. He has retired 24 of the last 25 batters that he has faced, including 19 in a row. What's the call there?
Well, Mitchell's just 24 years old, and he's got just over 120 days in the major leagues. So he's anxious to make this team. Joe Meyer is on deck. Pitcher comes back from a 3-0 count and strikes out Josh Tolley. Second strikeout of the afternoon.
Last time he gave up a hit was back on March the 10th when he gave up a home run to the Baltimore Orioles, trying to make this team. He's been up and down the last couple of seasons for the New York Yankees, but he's only had a total of 40 2/3 innings pitched for the big club. We were talking in the opening about bullpens and how they're constructed, and we showed the Yankees with their big three. They also have a host of other players that take that shuttle back and forth from AAA.
Yeah, they do a good job. When they use a pitcher for a couple of days, within a week, they might shuttle him back to AAA. Jamar pulls it on the ground. What a nice play at third by Refsnyder. Teixeira can't dig it out of the dirt. A low throw after making a fine grab. Refsnyder throws it in the dirt. Teixeira comes up with that 9 times out of 10.
Ball just stayed down on Mark Teixeira over there at first base, but what a play by Refsnyder. He was a shortstop in college. He's played some second base on the big league team, trying to make this team as a backup third baseman. Watch this pick to his left. He's got some time. Didn't look like he had a real good grip on that baseball, and Teixeira cannot come up with it.
Mark Teixeira, a Gold Glover. It's an error on the third baseman. Blue Jays finally have a base runner. Back to the top of the order. Ezequiel Carrera was thrown out on a nice play by the pitcher Brian Mitchell in the first on a little swinging bunt up the third baseline. A season ago, he had .273 and came up with some big hits for the Blue Jays. Well, that's a good pitch, Pat. That cutter right inside.
That was taught to him by Gil Patterson when he was in the minor leagues with the New York Yankees. Something that you can get inside to some of those left-handed batters.
Oh, 2 pitch. Breaking ball and a wicked one. The Blue Jays get a base runner, but they leave him in scoring position. 3 strikeouts for Brian Mitchell.
And brought to you by Scott's Turf Builder Grass Seed with Water Smart Plus coating. Grows grass quicker and thicker, guaranteed.
Welcome back to a beautiful Saturday afternoon in the Tampa Bay area. We are in Dunedin, Florida. The Yankees got a first inning home run off the bat of Aaron Hicks, first batter of the ball game. That's the only run of the game, the only hit of the game. This is Carlos Beltran. Beltran healthy again, Pat, and that's bad news for the rest of the American League. Looks like he's really feeling good at the plate.
He came up with some big hits against the Blue Jays at the end of last season. Remember the home run he hit at Rogers Center off of Osuna to help him win a ball game late in September last year, but it wasn't enough.
Beltran hit 3 home runs and drove in 7 against the Blue Jays last year. If I'm not mistaken, that was a pinch hit home run that he hit off Osuna.
Game winner in extra innings.
He's had a fine career, just shy of 400 career home runs. Well, if that wouldn't foul.
8-time All-Star. I mean, he's got some hardware built up in his career. AL Rookie of the Year in 1999. He's a Gold Glove winner, Silver Slugger Award winner. Talked about the All-Star.
On the ground, Gio Meyer has it. In plenty of time, 1 down.
Which fans, it's Florida Grapefruit League action. The Twins take on the Yankees tomorrow right here on Sportsnet. Buck?
Thank you very much. More spring training action. You get a chance to see the Twins and the Yankees. And again, Alex Rodriguez is introduced to a chorus of boos. Rodriguez, always in the middle of some kind of controversy, announced that he was not going to play after the 2017 season.
Well,
and he said, well, you know, my contract's just up.
Well, where's the news there? He'll be 42 years old. His contract's up. What's the big deal?
It's broken back to third. Anthony Burns has it. Easy play.
But you're right. That caused a firestorm, didn't it, in the newspapers in New York?
First overall pick in 1993 of the Seattle Mariners. How about that farm system to have Junior Griffey and Alex Rodriguez, a couple of first overall picks? And they hit on both of those picks, didn't they?
Yes, they did. They also had Edgar Martinez there at that time and Randy Johnson.
Mark Teixeira goes after a first pitch breaking ball, hits it a mile high. Gio Meyer has it right on the edge of the dirt. Quick inning for Jay Happ. 3 up, 3 down. Blue Jays are down by a run.
Fans, you want to mark April 24th down on your calendar. The Blue Jays host the Oakland A's that day at 1:07, and it is Josh Donaldson MVP bobblehead day presented by Pizza Nova. The first 20,000 fans will receive one of these bobbleheads. Go for tickets to BlueJays.com, and Buck, I imagine that bobblehead is going to be quite valuable too, as well as Josh Donaldson being valuable.
Well, you would think so, Barry. Big question is just what kind of hairdo is that bobblehead going to have? He can really sport some fancy hairdos. What a season he had a year ago, and I think he's primed to have another. Last night he had his first extra base hit of the spring. He had a double to the gap in right center against the Phillies. Josh gets the day off today. Chance to regroup after the late night last night. This is Dominic Brown, the left fielder, taking one downstairs. Brown was signed late in the offseason, just before spring training, and brought in to compete for one of these outfield jobs.
Blue Jays have done a good job of building some depth back into their farm system. We spoke about Gio Meyer probably going to start the season as the shortstop for the Buffalo team. That might be a pretty good team.
Well, you figure that Matt Dominguez is going to play third base as Brown bounces it to short. Both shortstops have been awfully busy here this afternoon. Pete Kozma and Gio Meyer. Brian Mitchell and Jay Happ have something in common, and it's something you really don't want to have in common with anybody. But both of these pitchers in this game today have hit by comebackers, line drives while pitching. It happened to Mitchell last year when he was hit in the face in the second inning of a game against the Minnesota Twins. A former Yankee, Eduardo Nunez, had an 0-2 count, reached out and hit a line drive that caught Mitchell right above the cheekbone on the right side of his face. He suffered a small nasal fracture, but boy, oh boy. You've thrown batting practice, and I don't know how these major league pitchers do it without flinching on every pitch.
I would never do it unless I had a screen. Been hit a couple of times throwing batting practice to minor leaguers as that ball has popped up.
It's like an off-speed pitch to Scherer. Following that ball as it's blown around in the wind, Bautista pops up.
But you're right. It's frightening when you let go of the ball, how fast that thing comes back at you. Mitchell tried to get his glove up after that line drive, and it struck him right in the face, and he went down. There was blood everywhere, and he was surrounded by his teammates, but he walked off the field under his own power with the trainer, Steve Donahue, and was okay.
Jay Happ, of course, was hit in St. Petersburg at Tropicana Field on May 7, 2013. 2 outs. I really admire pitchers that can come back from that and have success afterwards. I mean, it really, has to be something that's difficult to overcome.
Got to block it out, don't you?
Yep.
Just like a hitter, after you get hit, if you get hit in the head or hit in the face, you have to block that out. And I could just see a pitcher thinking about that as he's letting go of the baseball. It could mess up your timing and it can mess up your mechanics.
I really admire both of these guys for being able to bounce back after enduring those horrific injuries. Ball and a strike to Justin Smoke. There's a deep drive to right. Get up, ball, get up, and off the wall. Smoke headed for second. Hicks throw back in, and Justin Smoke just missed home run number 5 of the spring. A stand-up double. It's the first hit for the Blue Jays.
Finally, a ball is elevated by Brian Mitchell. This one about belt high in the middle of the plate, and the way Justin Smoke has been swinging, he is not going to miss this one. Got it just a little bit towards the end of the bat, so he didn't get all of it. You can see it just bounces off that fencing in right center field, and he's got to hustle into second base with a double.
4th double of the spring to go along with those 4 home runs. Chris Colabella with a chance to tie it up. 2 outs with Smoke at second. I don't know about you, but I've been impressed by Mitchell.
I've been very impressed with what he is throwing up there. Good movement on his fastball. We talked about the cutter last inning. His breaking ball is his best pitch. It's a swing and miss type of breaking ball where he'll get a lot of strikeouts with it. It's hard to believe this guy was a 16th round draft pick.
He was drafted out of high school. He had agreed to a letter of intent to go to University of North Carolina, but the Yankees offered him $800,000, and that's the magic number. Another good pitch in a tough spot. Boy, he hasn't missed with many pitches.
That double by Justin Smoke broke a string of 20 straight batters retired in a row by Brian Mitchell. Again, he'll make this team, assuming everybody is healthy in the starting rotation for the Yankees, he'll make this team as a reliever.
You are assuming an awful lot, Mr.
We had that discussion this morning, didn't we?
Colabello caught looking at strike 3, the fastball on the outside corner. 4 strikeouts for Brian Mitchell. An impressive outing.
NBA doubleheader tonight on Sportsnet 1. First, DeMar DeRozan and the Raptors head to New Orleans to take on the big man of the Big Easy, Anthony Davis, and the Pelicans. Then the Celtics battle the Suns tonight on Sportsnet 1. Buck, we talked about the Jays winning the AL East. Well, the Raptors are still in the hunt for the NBA East, and wouldn't that be special?
That sure would be, and now all we got to do is get the Maple Leafs to turn things around, and everybody would be happy in Toronto. I think Mike Babcock's got him headed in the right direction. Joe Girardi in his 9th season with the Yankees. This is bounced off home plate. Austin Romine, the catcher, What a dig by Smoke. Romine thought he beat it. But the umpire, Ramon De Jesus, who started out at third, is over at first now. Good play by Burns and Smoke.
You know what Justin did? Is he stays down long. Watch how he bends down and he stays down there. Doesn't come up, lets that ball get to him and picks it and saves a base runner for the Blue Jays.
This is Robert Refsnyder, the third baseman. There's been some good defensive plays on both sides of the diamond.
Jay Happ traditionally has been a fly ball type of pitcher, but today he's got that sinker working. He's throwing his fastball in a good spot, and he's getting a lot of ground balls.
That's number 10. 10 ground ball outs for Jay Happ. And you know what, Pat? We saw this transformation last July when Troy Tulowitzki came to the Blue Jays. The defense got better and the pitchers became more aggressive.
You can pitch to contact when you feel like your infield's going to help you out. And Jay Happ gets a lot of help right here from Andy Burns at third base. Throws a strike across the diamond. Tulowitzki, you're right, becomes very important for this team with his work ethic and what he has done in the middle of that diamond. Pitchers love it. Burns with a nice play. But when you're throwing strikes and you're working quickly and you're pitching to contact, those infielders are going to be engaged.
There's a deep drive to left field, and that's going to blow foul. It had the distance, but Torres pulled it foul. I shortchanged Jay. He's got 11 ground ball outs so far.
So the only ball in the air is the home run by Aaron Hicks to lead off the ball game. And there's a pop up by Teixeira. Check myself. 2 balls in the air off of Jay Happ in 5 innings.
That's a good day no matter where you're pitching. Jay Happ was drafted by the Phillies out of Northwestern University, and it's interesting that Joe Girardi, he too played collegiate baseball at Northwestern in Evanston, Illinois, and also Bo Schultz on the Blue Jays. He went to Northwestern as well. Jay Happ was quite a collegiate pitcher. He was all Big Ten 3 years. That ball is fair and hit deep to left field and off the wall. Reyes is headed for second. He got that one fair. He pulled one out of the ballpark foul, but he hits this one off the wall in left. Just the second hit for the Yankees.
That stops a streak of 14 in a row set down by Jay Happ with a breaking ball that stays up. You can see where Josh Tolley, the catcher, was set up. He wanted that one down and in to try and get Reyes to swing over the top of it, but it stays in the middle of the field, and he hits it off the wall for extra bases.
This is Pete Kozma, the shortstop. Kozma caught looking at strike 3 to start the third. Hits this one, little looper. That's one hop, short hop. Easy inning, Jay Happ. Gives up a 2-out double that leaves a runner at second.
MLB.TV Premium, everything you've come to expect and more. And now, a new low price for 2016. Watch every out-of-market game of all 30 teams live in true HD on over 400 supported devices. Blackouts and other restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.TV for more details. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry Davis. And you can check out all the ball games. And 8 days from today, the Blue Jays will drop the puck on the 2016 season. Right here in the Tampa Bay area, Tropicana Field. This is 30-year-old Anthony Swarzak coming into the ball game in relief of Brian Mitchell.
Swarzak pitched last season for the Cleveland Indians. You can see what he did in 10 games last season. .338 earned run average. Spent the bulk of his career in the Minnesota Twins organization. He's been a reliever his whole life. A little sinker slider type of pitcher. He too trying to make this team in the bullpen, and if he does, he'll come out of the bullpen.
Andy Burns, the third baseman, he struck out against Brian Mitchell, who had a good outing. Mitchell goes 4 innings, allowed a hit, didn't walk a batter, and struck out 4. Popped up right over the mound. Everybody converging. First baseman Teixeira takes charge and makes the catch.
Let the Gold Glover have it. That one right in the middle of the diamond. That's where the pitcher becomes a traffic cop out there and starts telling people who should have it. Well, he was smart right there to let the Gold Glover take it.
Well, you can hear Teixeira calling it all the way up here. And that's what you got to do. Take charge. It's easier for the corner infielders. They got the best angle on those pop-ups. One down. David Adams, the second baseman. Adams spent his only time in the big leagues with the New York Yankees back in 2013. Came up and filled in at third base. Got up to a pretty good start and then just kind of fell back, went back to the minor leagues, and hasn't been in the big leagues since.
Thought he was going to be a really good hitter. He's got a nice, simple approach at the plate. Not a lot of movement. Also not a lot of power, so I think the Yankees gave up on him in that respect. They like to have power on those corner infielders.
Ball inside as he fights it off and fouls it out of play. But here's another example of a veteran minor leaguer brought in to shore up the depth in the Blue Jays organization.
Blue Jays have traded away a lot of prospects over the last couple of years in their bid to get into the playoffs. And it's important, I think, to have players that have been around, that have experience in your upper levels, to teach some of the young kids coming up how to play the game the right way.
That's driven in the alley in right center. Beltran will chase it down, but it goes up against the wall. Adams will jog into second with a stand-up double on a 3-1 pitch.
Might not have a lot of home runs, but that's a pretty good approach right here. Swarzak can move the ball in and out, keeps that ball away, and David Adams stays on top of that one and drills into right center field. Beltran did not get a good jump. He wasn't going to cut that ball off anyway. And it's an extra base hit for the Blue Jays.
Josh Thole, the man in scoring position. A good rip. Thole's made some adjustments at plate this spring.
Lowered his hands just a little bit more. He has taken the bat and trying to get some wiggle in that bat and some movement with his hands early on. He feels like he's going to be able to hit the ball with a little bit more authority. When he first came up, he was servicing everything to left field, just trying to drive the ball the other way. Now he's staying up there and standing taller and getting his 3 licks at the ball. Not getting cheated.
A 1-2. Boy, that's a good pitch. I tell you what, Mitchell and Swarzak early on, they made some quality pitches on the inner part of the plate to both righties and lefties.
You have to, don't you? You have to be able to get that fastball in to those batters to keep him honest. Swarzak's got a great curveball that he will use for his strikeout pitch.
Good job by Romine keeping the ball in front of him.
He throws that breaking ball and he spikes it right into the ground. And Romine smothers it.
Swarzak spent 5 seasons with the Minnesota Twins. He actually made 32 starts while with Minnesota. And he dropped her right. Get up, ball. That ball is off the wall. Tolley is headed for second. Here comes Adams in to score, and Josh Tolley has tied it up. He was behind in the count 1-2 and ripped it to right.
You know, that's the difference that we talked about in his swing. He wasn't trying to serve the ball anywhere. He was going up there and he was going to get 3 good swings at it and comes up with a 2-strike base hit to right field. Center cut fastball, and Tolley pulls this ball. I think it surprised the Yankees that he was able to get the head out and pull it for extra bases.
Good job by Tolley to tie it up. It's 1-1 now as we're in the bottom of the 5th. Gio Meyer, shortstop in the 9th spot, goes after the first pitch. Tolley held up. Wasn't sure if that ball was going to get through cleanly, and it does. So Meyer delivers a base hit. Tolley goes to third.
You are the runner at second base, and you're taught anything to your right, you got to make sure it goes through. You can see Josh taking a look. He wasn't real sure if the shortstop was going to come over and catch that ball. Better safe than sorry right there and move up 90 feet. I don't think even if he broke from second base that he was going to score from second on that hit.
Swarzak running into a bit of a problem after getting Burns to pop up. Double single. First in third. Ezequiel Carrera has grounded out and struck out. Yankees infield in double play depth. These are situations that hitting coaches love to come up in spring training. First and third, less than 2 outs.
Let's see what that hitter can do. They practice it every day, hitting the ball the other way.
So weird.
As Carrera hits that ball the other way, infield in. Got to get a pitch that you can drive into the outfield. Blue Jays did a great job last year leading the American League in sacrifice flies. Brooke Jacoby, there's the hitting coach right there. He demands that from his hitters.
Breaking ball and a good one. There's that curveball you were talking about.
Yeah, right over the top. Takes a little something off of it, but he really gets good torque on this ball by staying on top of it and throwing it down in the strike zone.
Oh, good pitch. Just missed the inside edge. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You have a 4th outfielder. We talked about this the last time Carrera was up. Got to be able to run, I think, also. If you're going to be a 4th outfielder, you can pinch run possibly. Here's a situation to stay out of the double play.
The runner at first, Brian Meyer, broke for second, and the ball was low, a breaking ball, and Romine chose not to make a throw.
Blue Jays pick on a good pitch right here. Breaking ball, and really no chance for Romine to throw him out.
Now it's a full count with 1 out. Dominic Brown is on deck. It's a 1-1 ball game. Fly ball. That should score. Tolley hits over in the alley. Tagging at second is Meyer. The throw goes to third. Good job by Carrera. Now they overthrow the cutoff man, and Meyer running with his head up. Picked up on the overthrow and moves into third. Boy, that's good base running. He went back and tagged when he saw it was going to be routine.
And then you just read the throw. You see what the outfielder is going to do. No chance to get Tolley at the plate. So Hicks elects to go to third base, but then he airmails it over the third baseman. There's Tolley reading it. He wasn't going anywhere. Tags up. He's going to score. Now he's got to sprint home. And he does that. Puts his head down, sprints all the way through the bag right there, just in case there was a play at third base. He has to score that run before the third out is made. Good job right there by Tolley to put his head down and run hard. Also, good base running by Meyer to read that throw.
This has been such a good camp. The Blue Jays have really played well in every aspect of the game. And that reflects it right there. You know, when the big guys are doing the things the right way, everybody else has got to fall in place.
That's how a team can just police itself. If the veterans are out here every day and they're playing hard and running the bases the right way, everybody else is going to fall in line.
Foul tipped into the catcher's mitt.
You know, Meyer can get as much as he wants over there at third base with Dominic Brown at the plate. You can see where the third baseman is playing. That's Refsnyder, pretty much straight away shortstop. So now Meyer can come all the way down that line on the pitch.
Good cut. Fouled straight back. Well, the reason that Meyer wants to advance as far as he has is if the ball gets in the dirt away from the catcher. Doesn't take much for him to score.
Got a good curveball. Chances are he's going to use it with 2 strikes.
Is that something Louis Rivera, the third base coach, would discuss with the runner?
You know, I watched him when Dominic Brown was coming up to the plate, and he noticed that the infield was over shifting on Dominic Brown, so he went up to Meyer and said, hey, look, you get as far off of that bag as you want. Maybe you can score on a short, wild pitch.
Ground ball. Bobbled, but Cosma stays with it, makes the play, but the Blue Jays scored 2 on 3 hits and leave a runner. We'll go to the 6-2-1 Jays.
Fans, sign up now for the Old Dutch Blue Jays Spring Training Getaway Contest, and for a chance to win, purchase an eligible Old Dutch bag of potato chips and enter the UPC code at thebluejays.com Old Dutch Contest. One lucky fan will win a trip for 2017 Blue Jays Spring Training right here in Dunedin, Florida. Prize includes tickets, airfare, and hotel. For full contest rules, go to bluejays.com/Old Dutch Contest. All the more reason, Buck, to eat some potato chips.
Absolutely. That sounds like a pretty good little snack right now. Blue Jays have made some subtle defensive changes. That is Andy Burns, who started at third. He's now playing second. With that, David Adams is behind Jay Happ. He's playing at third now. Junior Lake into the game defensively in center. This ball is going to slice out of play into the seats. See that number 8 on the sleeve of Puello, recognizing the late Yogi Berra, who passed away. Berra was, of course, a Hall of Fame Yankee. He died September 22nd. And ironically, Joe Garagiola just passed away at the age of 90 this week. And he and Berra grew up together in St. Louis.
Best friends.
Joe Garagiola, of course, they have been acknowledging his passing on all the national radio shows and talked about going into the Hall of Fame. This ball is going to get past Bautista and go down into that corner and bounce out of play. Puello is going to stop at second. There's a gate down there, and it bounced through that gate for a ground rule double.
Cesar Puello is put together, 6'2", 220, the former New York Met. Goes right with this pitch. Little inside-out swing. Stay back and just serve that ball down the right field line for extra bases. Good start here in the 6th.
Leadoff double. Jay Happ working into this. Aaron Hicks, who touched Happ up for a first inning home run. Grounded out to third base in the 3rd inning. But to finish up, a little thought on Garagiola and Berra. They grew up together. They're both catchers. They both grew up on the Hill in St. Louis, the Italian community. And when Joe Garagiola went into the Hall of Fame, receiving the Ford Frick Award for announcing, he called up Yogi and said, "Hey, Yogi, I'm coming to Cooperstown to be in the Hall of Fame." And Yogi responded, "Well, what took you so long?" Great friends and certainly iconic baseball names. Garagiola, a player, a great broadcaster, and eventually became the host of the Today Show. He did it all, and he was a great humanitarian. He had the great stance against smokeless tobacco, championed his cause, and then did a great job with the BAT organization.
The BAT organization. He was still in baseball, wasn't he, with the Arizona Diamondbacks?
Yeah, he was doing a few games out there from time to time. I spoke yesterday to his son, Joe Garagiola Jr., who's working in the MLB office. And he says, "You know what? Dad had a great life. He was 90 years old and never missed an at-bat." Ground ball to Meyer. He's been a busy customer at short. Another ground ball out for Jay Happ. That's 13 ground ball outs for Happ.
Boy, they're going to be happy when they break this game down with Jay Happ's performance here, keeping that ball down and getting some good movement. Pitching is not just rearing back and just throwing it. You got to have a purpose, and you got to be able to put that ball where you want to. And Jay this afternoon is doing that.
Well, that certainly plays well at Rogers Center. You keep it on the ground, ball stay in the ballpark. I have yet to see a ground ball go out of the stadium.
In all the years that you've been around this game, you've never seen that?
Long time, yeah. Those ground balls just don't carry well at Rogers Center. This is Carlos Beltran. He has grounded out twice. This Yankee lineup is a formidable lineup. Of course, they were 4th in the American League in home runs last year, but the big question is, how long can the veteran lineup stay on the field and stay healthy?
They've had their share of injuries. They've had their share of injuries already this spring. No Jacoby Ellsbury over the last few days.
Joe Girardi told me Ellsbury will play tomorrow. He was hit by a pitch from Julio Teheran on the wrist. Of course, Alex Rodriguez is 40 years old. Ground ball up the middle. You got to knock it down, keep it on the infield, and he does that. But then he makes an ill-advised throw. Andy Burns did a good job of keeping that ball on the infield to save the run from scoring.
he will learn there's no need to make this throw right here. Too many things can happen, and they're all bad. Keeps the ball in the infield, knocks it down. You can see his wrist bend over right there as he catches the ball. How about Justin Smoke alertly coming off the bag, catching the ball, and putting his eyes on that runner at third base? Yeah, you just eat the ball right there in that situation. Keep the double play in order. It'll help your pitcher. If you can get a ground ball, he might be able to get out of this inning.
Yeah, he did the thing that you want from your infielder. Keep it on the infield. Correa stops at third. Runners at the corners now for Rodriguez. Rodriguez has struck out and grounded out. He grounded out to third in the fourth inning. Good rip, fouled it straight back.
You know, you and I have talked about this in the past about the New York Yankees offensively. You have to respect all the home run power that they have in the middle of that lineup. But I always think the key to stopping the Yankees are keeping Ellsbury and Gardner off the bases. Now, they're not here this afternoon. I understand that. Such a key. When they're on base with their speed, they can cause so many problems for the opposition. And then you got to deal with all these guys, the power hitters, with them on base.
You know what it does when they get on base? It keeps the defense honest. You can't play in the shifts. So you have to play straight up, and opens up more holes on the infield. Rodriguez fouls off the off-speed pitch.
Blue Jays did a real good job last year of keeping those guys off the base, and they had good numbers against the Yankees.
The Blue Jays won the division by 6 games over the Yankees. They were 13-6 against New York in their head-to-head meetings. Well, a good pitch by Happ. He really busted it inside.
He's moving that fastball around this afternoon. Outside, inside, keeping it down. That time he really tied up Rodriguez.
Well, I think Jay Happ has really turned the corner. Started last year, and now he's carried it into this spring. He's working here in the 6th inning, trying to get 6 complete. 0-2 to Rodriguez. Good job by Tolley. That ball hit about 4 feet in front of home plate.
Just get any part of your body if you can and keep it in front of you. You can tell it was a breaking ball the way Josh Tolley set up. A little bit wider stance, and he's anticipating that ball in the dirt. Blocks it with his chest protector and kept that runner at third. He also kept that runner at first base.
Kept the double play in order. Did a good job of bringing in that right shoulder to deflect that ball right in front of him. 1-2. Happ looking for a ground ball. Two balls and 2 strikes. Jay Happ has recorded 13 ground ball outs this afternoon. Popped over near the seats. That's going to blow back out of play.
Boy, what an at-bat. Who says the players don't care about spring training?
You always have pride on the line, that's for sure. Alex Rodriguez is 40 years old. 687 career home runs, albeit with an asterisk. 2-2. Checked his swing. Got to start the runner, you would think, in this situation with Beltran at first, trying to stay out of an inning-ending double play.
You mentioned all those ground ball outs that Happ has recorded so far. Makes a lot of sense. Start that runner over at first base, and if you're the Blue Jays and he does start the run, you're hoping for a strike him out, throw him out.
Correa at third, Beltran at first. Not running. Up, back over the Blue Jays dugout. Alex Rodriguez has 58 career home runs against the Blue Jays. 237 career games. And he's always been a thorn in the Blue Jays' side. Rodriguez made his debut July 8th, 1994 with the Seattle Mariners.
You mentioned the last time he was up, he was just drafted in '93 out of high school. Must be nice. He makes the game look so easy.
It was a great story. Whitey Herzog was advanced scouting. He was scouting. He was retired, and he was with Matt Keel, and they were scouting for the Cardinals. And the Cardinals had the 3rd pick in the country that year. And they went down to Miami to Westminster Christian High School where Alex was playing, and he got up one time in the 1st inning. Whitey tapped Keel on the back and said, "Let's go." He said, "We haven't even seen him play." He said, "He's not going to be around by the 3rd spot."
Exactly. All it took for him was to see one at bat from a high school kid.
Line drive, base hit. Rodriguez wins that battle with Jay Happ, and it's a 2-2 game.
What an at bat. Pride on the line, facing a tough pitcher, and Rodriguez's afternoon's going to be over. It looked like a good pitch from Jay Happ down. He just reaches out and pokes it over the second baseman's head. That was a long at bat. He fouled off some tough pitches and then is rewarded with his RBI single.
What a battle. Jay Happ made some great pitches to Alex Rodriguez, fouled a couple back. A-Rod is out of the game. That is E-Rod, if you will. Eddie Rodriguez taking over as a pinch runner at first. So Alex Rodriguez finishes up the afternoon 1 for 3.
Running for Carlos Baltimore, number 62, Juan Silva.
So Pete Walker came out to give Jay Happ a little bit of a breather here after that extended at bat. There's a pinch runner at second as well. Juan Silva has taken over as the runner for Beltran at second base. Beltran and Rodriguez both out of the game. Now that ball gets away from Josh Tolley. The runners advance.
See how that one is going to be scored. Jay's been so efficient this afternoon. They're trying to get that pitch count up. The ball bounces in front of Josh Tolley. He cannot keep it in front of him.
Teixeira pulls it to third, and David Adams tags out the runner, but he didn't have time to throw Teixeira out. The run comes in to score as Silva comes across on the fielder's choice.
Well, the Yankees take advantage of that wild pitch in the dirt. They get the ground ball out, and it would have been a double play to end the inning. But Adams tags that runner, and Teixeira's afternoon is done.
The catcher, number 43, Austin Romine.
Debison Romero takes over for Teixeira as a pinch runner as the veterans have been lifted from this game here in the top half of the 6th. This is Austin Romine, the catcher, 0 for 2. Outside.
Davidson Romero running for Teixeira.
Three-two Yankees. They've scored 2 runs on 3 hits here this inning.
You want Jay to finish this inning. Finish off on a positive note. Walk off that field knowing your afternoon is done. It's been a long inning.
Had a long at bat against Alex Rodriguez as they went toe to toe, and Rodriguez fouled off a bunch of good pitches.
This is where, as a pitcher, you're pushing yourself. He's in heights right now in spring training where he hasn't been yet.
Well, this is what you want. This will be the second to last start for Jay Happ, and you want to elevate that pitch count. Next time out, he can back off a little bit, kind of conserve energy for his first regular season start.
Right now, the legs are starting to feel it pitching into the 6th inning. Start to labor just a little bit. You lose that release point. You know, Pete Walker and John Gibbons wants to get him through this inning so he can walk off with his teammates.
Full count pitch is fouled out of play. I think Jay Happ has accomplished everything he had hoped for today. He got a whole boatload of ground ball outs. Used all his pitches, pitched well down in the zone. This is popped up middle of the diamond. Andy Burns, the second baseman, takes charge and makes the catch. The inning is over, but the Yankees scored 2. Top half of the 6th, they lead it 3-2.
Fan Sportsnet Magazine takes you one-on-one with the Blue Jays' biggest stars, including Josh Donaldson, Marcus Stroman, Troy Tulowitzki, Jose Bautista, and more. The Blue Jays edition. Download it now at sportsnet.ca/magazine.
Thank you very much, Barry Davis, and it'll be a good opportunity for you to get all up to speed before they start this season for good next Sunday. Right here in the Tampa Bay area, St. Petersburg at Tropicana Field, the Blue Jays will take on the Rays. Marcus Stroman against Chris Archer.
Oh, that should be a lot of fun.
Pretty good, isn't it? You talk about 2 of the more engaging personalities of all baseball. They are really a couple of outstanding young men.
You know what they do? They put themselves out there for everybody.
Off camera, right?
And
Yep.
They're engaging.
You got the visuals.
They're good for everybody.
2-0 to Jose Bautista. He is 0 for 2 so far. That's a high pitch. Now 3-0.
Oh, and they're pretty good pitchers also.
Yeah, on top of that.
They're pretty talented guys.
Chris Archer got to have a conversation with President Obama in Cuba while the Rays were down there, and President Obama was behind home plate. And the Rays were coming by to greet him, and the president said, Chris Archer, I admire you, not so much for your pitching, but for the person you are. And you know this, Pat, when Chris Archer comes to Toronto, he asks the Blue Jays Care Foundation what he can do to help while he's in town.
And he'll go out and visit the boys and girls clubs and be around all the kids. Oh, he's a special, special guy.
One down, Bautista strikes out, and talk about a special guy. Here's Barry Davis.
Thank you very much, Buck. And as you guys mentioned earlier, Edwin Encarnacion is yet to play a game so far this spring training, but he took a very positive step forward today by taking batting practice on the field. He told me yesterday he feels great. There's absolutely no more pain. The plan for him now is to play in a minor league game on Monday after having the day off tomorrow. And if all goes well, he does plan to be with the Blue Jays come opening day. I asked him if he needs a certain amount of at-bats before he makes a jump to the big leagues. He said it really doesn't matter to him. He could have 20 ABs or he could have 50 ABs. He could still start the season 0 for 20. And John Gibbons added, we need him there if he is healthy. So, guys, it's quite conceivable that Edwin Encarnacion will be with the Blue Jays opening day without having played a single spring training game.
Yeah, I don't think that's important for a veteran player like Edwin. We have seen that in the past, and he knows what it takes to get himself ready.
Guys are different. Some guys need a lot of at-bats in spring training. They want to see a lot of pitches. They want to feel like it's the month of June, if you will, in the month of April, beginning the season. Some other guys, it might take them 20 at-bats.
Everybody's different, but certainly just the presence of Edwin in the lineup changes the entire complexion of this lineup. And you hate to think of where the Blue Jays might be next year without having Jose Bautista or Edwin Encarnacion, and that's a distinct possibility. They're both free agents at the end of this season.
Yeah, I don't even want to go there right now. I want to enjoy them, the two sluggers, while they're wearing the Blue Jays uniform.
It just has an impact on everybody in the lineup when they're in there. And no matter, it doesn't make any difference. When Chris Archer faces the Blue Jays on opening day on the 3rd of April, he's not going to say, you know, Encarnacion only has 6 at-bats this spring.
Yeah, he doesn't care. Look at my numbers against him in my career.
Yeah, he's going to say, that guy is a threat. I don't care if it's November, December, or opening day.
You've heard that saying, he makes guys around him better. Jose and Edwin do that, both of them. And just stretches that lineup so much deeper. I mean, you're talking a hitter like Russell Martin possibly hitting 7th or 8th in this lineup.
Preston Smoke strikes out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Anthony Sforza.
Designated hitter number 15.
3-2 Yankees. We're at the bottom of the 6th. We are expecting to see Roberto Hernandez, Joe Biagini, and Roberto Osuna before this day is done. Chris Colabello 0 for 2. Waves at his former teammate Anthony Swarzak, playing with the Twins. Did you like playing against former teammates, hitting against pitchers that you had played with?
Only if they threw 82 miles an hour. Okay? If they threw 95 like this guy is, I wasn't going to have any fun.
No, it didn't make any difference how close you are when he's got this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's a tough day at the office.
No fun. And now it was a bonus if they were left-handed. That made things a little bit easier.
Chopper over the mound. Quickly unloading is Torres. Colabello 0 for 3. Quick inning for Anthony Swarzak.
Fans J Shop is Canada's largest and only official team shop for your Toronto Blue Jays. New 2016 authentic jersey with 40th season sleeve patch is now available. Get yours today at jshop.ca.
Thank you very much, Barry. We are headed for the top of the 7th, and we are pleased to be joined now by Jose Bautista, the starting right fielder of the Blue Jays. And spring is winding down. Blue Jays are just 8 days away from opening day. And, Jose, it's got to be a good feeling now that everybody's kind of getting ready for that opening day on Sunday against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it is. You know, spring training for us position players seems to get a little long sometimes, but it's about that time. And I mean, I'm ready to go, and I think everybody else is too.
Jose, everybody has looked really good this spring, coming off a great season last year. You, 40 home runs, the team, a lot of success. What does this team have to do to take the next step?
Just continue to be consistent like we did second half last season. Our starters did a tremendous job in the second half, and I think that was the difference. And I mean, everybody knows that we can score runs. We scored a bunch last year. We expect to score a lot again this year. So that's not going to be an issue as long as we can continue to play good defense and our starting pitchers give us a chance. We have a pretty good chance of repeating the division.
Jose, you've been in this organization a long time. Have you ever seen this much competition in the pitching staff as a Blue Jay?
No, not as a Blue Jay. You know, I've been in other organizations where basically every spot was up for grabs in spring training, but it's a different story here. But there's two, three, four bodies that are very deserving, fighting for that 1 and 2 spots for us. So it's exciting to see.
Jose, you mentioned that defense is going to be very important. You guys were very good at that last year. Talk to the fans a little bit how much pride you guys take in your defense.
A lot of pride, especially our infielders. They're always in there working hard to get an extra ground balls with Rivera, and they will like to work together. So I think that works perfect. Colabello has really improved a lot since he got up here, and everybody knows what Justin Smoke can do, and Edwin's gotten pretty good at first too. So in the outfield, we expect to be just as good as we were last year. Hopefully even a little bit better if I don't have to deal with that shoulder injury, and that should be a plus in the outfield for me as well, just being able to throw runners out like I used to.
Jose, you told me something very interesting this couple of weeks ago about defense, how much defense is reacting to the ball as opposed to pitching, trying to figure out what a pitcher is trying to do to you. Explain that a little bit if you would.
Well, both of them have an element of anticipation or, educated guess. I don't like sitting on pitches, and I don't like, putting my chips all in on one side of the field or the other when a batter is at the plate. But you kind of see things develop, and there's tendencies. And if you know your pitchers well and you know how they like to attack hitters, you're going to put yourself in the best position to catch the ball if the guys do execute. So, and that's the way that you got to play the game. You got to be smart about it and allow the mistakes to fall in, but play the percentages.
One more on the defense. What can playing good defense do for your pitching staff?
Oh, you can get to relax them. Sometimes that's the difference between somebody attacking the strike zone in an in-between count and somebody nibbling and then falling behind and walking, and the next thing the next hitter gets a double, and that's a run, and with another guy in scoring position. So we need to play solid defense like we know we can, and that'll allow our pitchers to relax and execute their pitches a lot better.
2 down now. Jose, today I spoke with Mark Teixeira and Alex Rodriguez about how challenging it is for hitters in the game today with all of the deep bullpens. Do you echo their sentiments? Because you guys are seeing 3 and 4 different pitchers in the course of one single ball game.
Yeah, for sure. And everybody's extremely talented. When I started up in the big leagues in the mid-2000s, there was a couple of roster spots where you felt like they were, just filling in a gap until somebody else was ready. But that doesn't happen anymore. Everybody can throw 95 plus and has 1 or 2, secondary pitches that are plus out of the bullpen, and it becomes a challenge. But that's what makes this sport exciting, and that's what makes us come out here and work hard every day to figure out how to continue to be successful.
Jose, we appreciate your time and wish you nothing but the best and good health all the way, and let's get this season underway.
That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, guys.
Have a great year, buddy.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you. That's Jose Bautista with some interesting thoughts, and I think that's pretty much been the conversation around this ballpark today. We talked about bullpens in the open, but he also echoed those sentiments about how challenging it is today. to hit those tough bullpens. Pete Cosma rips one past David Adams into left. A 2-out single here in the 7th off Roberto Hernandez.
Well, it certainly seems like the game is moving that direction, especially in the American League East. Look at the bullpens that have been fortified, the players that have come into the American League East just this offseason. You're talking about Aroldis Chapman for the Yankees, Craig Kimbrell for the Boston Red Sox, Drew Storen right here for the Yankees, or excuse me, for the Blue Jays. It just seems like everybody wants to do what the Kansas City Royals have done over the last couple of seasons, fortify that bullpen with a lot of hard throwers.
I think it's a great discussion. And you say, well, is it a shortcut? Is it just kind of a Band-Aid? Build up the bullpens because the starter's not that effective? It's a discussion we will continue all season long. Roberto Hernandez gets out of the inning. Blue Jays are down by a run as they're set to bat in the bottom of the 7th.
Blue Jays fans, if you're catching a game in the U.S., you can share all your experiences as they happen with friends and fans back home. With Roam Like Home from Rogers, you can use your phone exactly like you do at home, starting at $5 a day in the U.S. Go to Rogers.com/RoamLikeHome for details. Buck, with so many people Facebooking and tweeting and Instagramming pictures and videos of the Blue Jays down here in spring training, that is definitely a good deal to be a part of.
It sure is, and you can see all those fans hard at work keeping up with everybody back home. So you want to make sure you check out your Roam Like Home when you get down here to Florida. New pitcher for the Yankees, Diego Moreno. AAA numbers from a year ago.
26 games in AAA, 3-0 with 218 earned run average. He also got into 4 games with the Yankees. 10 innings, had 9 hits. Got a good fastball. He had 8 strikeouts in those 10 innings. What's new? A Yankee bullpenner coming in throwing hard.
Mark Teixeira was talking about that when they were trying to break down the numbers of their bullpen. He said, you mean Moreno's not going to make the club? He's got a great arm. The Yankees have a host of good arms down in their bullpen. This is Andy Burns. He has moved all over the place. He started out playing at third base, moved to second. Now he's at first base. Improving his value. He's certainly opened up some eyes this spring, Pat.
He has. He was over with DeMarlo Hale this morning working on his footwork over at first base. Probably not going to be a super utility type of player this season as he fouls that ball, pops it up.
That ball is going to blow out of play into the seats.
But you're right. He has opened up some eyes. Talked to Brooke Jacoby about him last week, and he says, hey, he can hit, and he can hit at this level. Big league pitching. He's got a short stroke, Doesn't strike out a lot. He makes solid contact. He gives a good effort every single time up there. He can cover every pitch. And I guess
last year at AAA.
I guess if you can play multiple positions, it only enhances your value to the ball club.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Andy Burns leading off the bottom of the 7th. Pops this one up. This is playable. Second baseman Torres, and now the first baseman makes the catch. Romero, big first baseman who took over for Teixeira at first base. 1 down.
Third baseman, number 7,
You know, we have talked about the bullpen, and Barry Davis had talked about how the Blue Jays are going to sort things out. Nobody really knows just yet. There have been no announcements outside of the fact that Marcus Stroman's going to open up on April 3rd against the Rays. But you don't have to make any announcements, and obviously, you know, keep fingers crossed that nobody gets hurt to create more problems down this last week of the season. But you want to make sure that you give everybody an opportunity. You don't want to cut anybody off.
And that's why
they have a chance.
And that's why you don't announce it until the last few days before the ball club leaves. They're going to leave on Thursday. And if there are injuries or if there's trades that are going down, you don't want to announce anything and have to go back on your word and change things.
Ball and a strike, 1 out. A lot of anxious players in that clubhouse, not understanding what's going to take place. That ball is ripped down the left field line. Adams pulls it all the way into the corner. He's headed for second. With a 1-out double for David Adams, his second double of the afternoon.
Fastball touched 95 miles an hour from Diego Moreno, and David Adams said, no problem. I can turn on that thing. Watch how quickly he gets that bat through the strike zone and rifles it over the third baseman's head. Adams, a former Yankee, with a couple of doubles this afternoon.
2 for 3 in the afternoon. So Adams represents the tying run at second base. This is Tony Sanchez, who took over defensively behind the plate for Josh Tolley. Tolley finished up 1 for 2 with an RBI double. He also scored a run. Pulled on the ground on the first pitch. 2 down.
the shortstop, number 58.
The Blue Jays wrap up their spring schedule in Montreal next weekend at Olympic Stadium against the Red Sox. You can watch both games right here on Sportsnet Friday night and Saturday afternoon.
That should be a lot of fun, and the only downside of that is that the Blue Jays are going to play the Red Sox 7 times in a regular season, just 2 weeks into the season, so they'll be sick and tired of playing against one another. 2 games in Montreal, Friday night and Saturday afternoon, and we have seen, Pat, it's a great weekend.
Oh, it's so much fun. The fans get into it. The place is packed for 2 games. That Saturday afternoon game, I'm sure we'll see the regulars, but it might end up being a Pawtucket versus Buffalo game. What do you think?
Well, I'm not sure the Blue Jays are going to take a full complement of big league players, given the fact they play Sunday afternoon here in Tampa Bay. They play the Rays, one of 3 games that ESPN will air on Sunday afternoon to start the regular season, and initially that game was supposed to be on Monday.
On Monday, so the travel day on Saturday, you had the off day on Sunday, no more. It's a quick turnaround for the Blue Jays.
That's a fair ball down the left field line off the bat of Gio Meyer. Adams is around to score. Meyer is headed for second base, and he'll get there standing up. It's a 3-3 game.
Managers love those 2-out hits in spring training from young players trying to make an impression on the ball club. You got a hard thrower again in Moreno. No problem for Meyer this time as he hits that ball down the left field line. Almost a carbon copy of the Adams double.
Center fielder, number
2 batters prior.
Junior Lake will get his first at bat of the afternoon. He took over in center field for Ezequiel Carrera, who had an RBI on a sac fly in the 5th. Junior Lake's done a nice job this spring. 257 for the season. He's hit 4 doubles. He also has 4 stolen bases.
And he has done everything to warrant making this ball club. He's out of options, isn't he?
Yes.
So if he doesn't make this team, he's going to be subject to waivers, and someone is going to pick him up.
He and Carrera are both out of options. And there are other players on the Blue Jays roster that are out of options as well. But for the outfielders, both Carrera and Lake will have to pass through waivers in order to be sent to the minors. And there are a lot of teams looking for players right now, especially in the National League.
There are scouts everywhere. You see them every day when you come to the ballpark. Teams are trying to tweak their roster, trying to get guys through waivers, trying to send guys down. Blue Jays are no different than anybody else. They've got a Rule 5 guy that they're going to have to make decisions about in that bullpen.
We might see that guy a little bit later in his game, Joe Biagini, who was taken into Rule 5 draft from the San Francisco Giants organization. If he doesn't make this ball club, he has to be offered back to the San Francisco Giants. Keep him in the big leagues or offer him back to the Giants at half the cost. He went around.
Teams do that year in and year out. They claim guys in the Rule 5 draft. They really like them, and they'd like to keep them in the organization. They then get a hold of the team that he came from, and they try to work out a trade, possibly. I don't think that's going to be an option for the Blue Jays this year. Giants, where Biagini came from, would probably like to have that arm back.
Well, good pitch as Lake strikes out on the inside fastball. Blue Jays have tied it up. We'll go to the 8th. It's 3-3.
Fans, very special event coming up next month. You can join the entire Toronto Blue Jays roster, coaching staff, and special alumni guests on the field at Rogers Centre, April 11th for the Jays Care Foundation's Curveball Gala. Single tickets are now on sale at www.jayscare.com. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry. That's a great event. Make sure you check it out. They do a great job of converting Rogers Center Field into a ballroom, if you will. It's a great evening, and you get a chance to meet all the ball players. Speaking of the ball players, we have a chance now to meet one of the ball players. Chris Colabello has been kind enough to join us from the dugout. Chris, thanks for your time.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.
Talk about this time of the year, Chris. For the first time, I imagine, in your career, you were pretty assured of making this ball club coming into camp. That's got to be a different feeling for you.
Yeah, it's funny. I try not to think about it that way. It seems like it's every day is kind of the same for me. It would be foolish to change the way I prepare. nowadays after all the years and things like that. So just trying to go about my business every day, get my work in, figure out how to get right in the box for opening day.
Okay, you talked about your routine. How is that going? What have you done this spring to get yourself ready for opening day?
Well, it's been a little hit or miss. I mean, it feels like some days I feel like it's July and I'm locked and loaded, and other days it's been a little bit more of a challenge. Just trying to figure out how to be the same guy every day. You know, how to prepare the same way I would normally for a game. Just like you said, it's a little bit different obviously this year, but I certainly try not to think about it that way. I'm still coming to try to get my work in every day. Just trying to get better. You know, that's all I can do.
Well, I watched you last Sunday when we did the broadcast. Watched you take batting practice, and then didn't see you for a couple of days. Watched you today. It looks like it's starting to click for you. Staying in the middle of the diamond just a little bit more in batting practice.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big key for me. Everything's felt a little fast. I think the hardest thing, and I've come to terms with this the further on I've gotten in my career, the hardest thing is not to get to a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. It's to be able to wait for it, which sounds kind of counterintuitive, but being able to trust my swing and let the ball work the other way. And it's happened a little bit more here in the last week or so in games and stuff, but certainly something I try to work on every day in DP, just so that that guy shows up every day at the field.
Chris, how do you set your sights to catch up with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball if you want to let it travel?
Well, the hard part, like I said, is for me, I get so jumpy sometimes in the box because I'm like, oh man, this guy's throwing hard. And then the other day I faced I think I got a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and it was the first one that I let get back on me a little bit, and I actually hit a fly ball to center, because when I'm hitting the ball out in front of home plate, typically it's on the ground, and I certainly, if I never roll over a ground ball to the left side again, it'll be too soon. So, you know, it's just a matter of, like you said, where do you set your sights? Well, there have been days when I've been thinking about hitting it over the first base dugout, and that's helped. So maybe that's what I need to stick with here for the next week or so.
Well, you almost hit me in batting practice. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, I know. We talked about that this morning. I'm sorry. I was trying to throw you a pass earlier in the day.
I know. Spring training this year. Has it been the best that you have ever been on? You've been with some other organizations. It's been a great spring, hasn't it, for the Blue Jays?
Certainly just a testament to the people that are around, to kind of following with what we did last year, and having guys with character and guys that really want to win and want to compete every day. And when it comes down to it, it's about showing up every day. You're not going to get your results every day, but it's about how you show up and go about your business. And I think we certainly have a pretty capable group of guys, and from what you're seeing, a lot of depth behind it too.
Chris, the one thing I've noticed is you guys come in, you work hard, but you'll see Donaldson and Bautista, they got a boombox in their back pocket. Everybody's relaxed. Everybody is having a great time. Is that the way you guys feel as players now? This is truly a team that have fun and win at the same time?
Yeah, it's certainly a little bit different than any other environment I've ever been. We've certainly got some personalities here, and I think the best part of it is that we're not afraid to let personalities come out. And I think that's when guys ultimately play at their best, is when they're able to be themselves and be the best version of themselves they can be. You know, obviously, I don't carry a speaker in my back pocket yet, but you know,
I heard it today.
It is what
it's
it
loud.
Is. I mean, it's just, again, it's all just part of us being us, I guess, and I think that's what made us special last year, and I'm glad to see it carrying over into this year.
I agree with you 100%, Chris. Good luck to you. Thanks for your time, and stay healthy and get off to a great start.
You got it, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, Chris Colabello from the dugout. Joe Giacchini gets a double play after a walk. Easy inning for the big right-hander. He's the Rule 5 guy we were talking about.
Bruins and Leafs, and then the Oilers and Kings. And then over on City, it's the Ducks and the Senators. Lots and lots of hockey for your Saturday night right here on Sportsnet. Buck?
Should be a busy night of hockey, that's for sure. And the Blue Jays are in a tie ball game. They had a tie last night, 4-4 against the Philadelphia Phillies. And this is the new pitcher for the Yankees, Brandon Pinder.
Blue Jays saw plenty of Pinder last season as he got into 25 games, 0-2. 293 earned run average, sinker slider. He's got a sharp breaker and a good sinker. We were talking in the opening about bullpens and the big three that the New York Yankees have, and Betances and Miller and Chapman. Remember, Chapman's going to miss the first 30 games of this season, serving a suspension. But they can't pitch every night, so they're going to have to get some production from some of the other guys, and I think Brandon Pinder is going to be one of those guys.
You mentioned Pinder pitched against the Blue Jays last season. He had an 0-1 record in 5 games, an ERA of 4.91 against the Jays. Dominic Brown has grounded out 3 times today. Gets this one in the air, but foul. 3-3 ball game. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Big mighty cut from Dominic Brown as Pinder jumps ahead 1-2. You know, we talk about bullpens, and we're seeing it firsthand here again today. Swarzak comes in, he's blowing and throwing great breaking balls. Diego Moreno did the same, and now Brandon Pinder. And this isn't even the A team.
Yeah, I was going to say this is the B team, if you will. That fastball that he just threw by Dominic Brown for strike 2 was 96 miles an hour.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the trend around baseball now, these big power arms. And it's just the way that baseball is going. That's a foul ball. Joe Girardi told me that, you know, bullpens are going to be built up now. And you can see Roberto Osuna starting to loosen up for the Blue Jays. He'll pitch the top of the 9th. But Girardi and his analytical people, they've talked about a starter going twice through the lineup. Now think about that. Twice through the lineup. 18 batters. And that's it. It could be 6 innings if you have a perfect 6 innings or less.
It's going to be less. Now, how, as a manager, can you fill those remaining innings for the rest of the game?
4 innings a night. Racks up to 628 innings for the season out of the bullpen. That's a ton of innings.
That's a ton of innings. And the first thing that comes to mind is you're not going to do it with 7 guys.
No.
You have to do what the Yankees have done over the last couple of seasons, and I think we're starting to see it more and more around baseball. Your bullpen is going to be made up of 12 to 14 players. You get into a couple of games at the big league level, if you have options, you are going to take that AAA shuttle back and forth, 5, 6, 7 times in a season.
Well, and Joe talked about, and what am I supposed to tell Tanaka if he goes twice through the order and is shutting them out and giving up 2 hits?
Keep going.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got to be keep going.
Dominic Brown strikes out, tried to check his swing, but went too far.
You know, I guess that's where the manager comes in, and you got to know your players. And if the guy is dominating and he's got a low pitch count, well, you can keep going and you can save your bullpen. But if you're watching the ball game and you see guys are starting to get on your starting pitcher, you're going to see managers take him out, and now they're going to play matchup the rest of the game.
Now, and 2, it really depends on where you are in the lineup. You know, if you're down at the bottom and you've got 7, 8, 9 coming up in the 7th inning, and your starter has dominated them, you'd certainly want him to go back out.
Sure.
You don't know. This is the problem I have with this. You don't know what tomorrow will bring. You know what's going on now. If Stroman is dealing in the 6th or 7th, you'd stretch him out in the 8th, maybe even the 9th. Every game is different. Every pitch is different.
Listen to what you just said. Maybe the 9th.
Yeah. It's why not? You know what? You're going to have, and Greg Maddux always talked about this. The Hall of Famer said, you know what? I can throw 132 pitches and breeze if there's no stressful pitches involved. Or I can throw 75 and be gassed. Yeah. I mean, just think about pitchers pitching against the Blue Jays lineup. How stressful is that? I mean, your warm-ups are stressful.
It can't be any fun, right?
Roman Field slaps it to the third baseman, and that ball came up and really ate up Rob Refsnyder.
That is the second time, Buck, that Refsnyder has played third base here in the last week where he's taken a bad hop. The other one hit him right in the face in his last game, and now it gets late in the afternoon. Those fields start baking and getting a little bit tighter. That time the bad hop looked like it hit him in the upper part of his body. Yeah, they're going to take him out of this game.
Yeah, they're going to walk him right into the clubhouse, and obviously it's a tough hop he gets, and these fields get baked down here late in spring training. Vicente Conde will take over defensively as longtime trainer Gene Monahan is going to walk him down the clubhouse, and they're going to attend to him, make sure he's okay.
You know, you got hit there in his last game, and it knocked him out of that ball game. So you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to really stay down. I'm not going to flinch. And what happens? He gets another one.
And then you get a little bit gun shy. That's Conte loosening up at third, but you can't really blame him, and you get a tough hop like that. You know, that's something we haven't talked about this spring as far as the Blue Jays are concerned, is they're going to play on a dirt infield this year at Rogers Center. And they have been putting this thing together since the end of February, and they did it right. They went deep down. They took out all the concrete. They put in layers of gravel and sand and clay and built it up perfectly. But it's still going to be an adjustment. And they're going to have some getting used to on that field, and you would expect it to be a little bit faster on the skin part of the infield than that last artificial surface they installed at Rogers Center.
The infielders have talked about that already, that it will be faster. Balls will get through. If you remember when they had the AstroTurf on the whole infield, that was a very slow infield for the Blue Jays.
This is John Birdie getting his first at bat of the afternoon. Fields can run at first. He's not running here, and it's a ball upstairs. But that's going to be an adjustment period as well. And it's not only the Blue Jays, they're going to lose a little bit of their home field advantage, at least at the start of the season.
And they had a home field advantage on that turf. Teams would come in there, and they just didn't know how to play it. It took them a couple times, a couple of games to get used to the slowness of that field. The ball wouldn't bounce like it normally does on AstroTurf.
There goes the runner, and the throw is in the dirt. Ball is kicked out of the glove of the second baseman, Torres. Carlos Corporan has taken over behind the plate. His throw was short of the mark.
You mentioned Fields can run. That is a straight steal. You can see he never looked back right there to see what was happening around home plate. He was going right into second base with the stolen base, and now he's in scoring position.
John Birdie has been sent back to the minor league camp. He was with the Blue Jays in the spring. He has appeared in 12 games, has 13 at-bats, but he has 2 RBIs. He's got a chance for a go-ahead RBI right here in the bottom of the 8th. Frano pitch. Way outside. It'll be ball 4. So we got a pinch hitter striding to the plate. It's Casey Hobson, who will hit in place of Justin Smoke. Colabella, excuse me. He's hitting for Colabella in the DH spot, as Birdie came in to hit for Smoke, as Smoke left the game earlier. I'm trying to catch up with all these moves and substitutions.
There's a lot going on, isn't there? A lot going on. Hobson, a minor leaguer, called up for this ball game, a chance to be a hero.
First pitch strike. outside. At the bottom of the 8th, it's a 3-3 ball game. The Blue Jays have out-hit the Yankees 7-6. New York has committed 2 errors as the Blue Jays continue to play tight defense. No errors today, and they had a lot of opportunities with Jay Happ on the mound. That's chopped off home plate. Bender will go to the baseline and tag out Casey Hobson. Runners move up 90 feet, but now there are 2 outs.
I've been impressed with some of the young players that the Blue Jays have brought over from their minor league camp. Guy coming to the plate for the Blue Jays is one of them. Andy Burns has impressed.
He's had a good spring. He came in with low expectations. Obviously, the ball club pretty much set, especially on the infield. But boy, he's opened some eyes. They're going to make note of Andy Burns and keep an eye on him while he's playing in Buffalo.
I like his aggressive approach at the plate and in the field.
Came into this ball game with a .379 batting average this spring.
You can just tell certain guys who are confident that they belong, and he carries himself like he belongs in the big leagues.
Chopper, that's a fair ball. Romero steps on the bag, and the 8th is over. We'll go to the 9th. It's a tie game, 3-3.
Fans, the Sportsnet documentary team is producing 3 half-hour shows featuring Roberto Osuna, Marcus Stroman, and Mark Shapiro. This offseason, Stephen Brunt had exclusive access to Roberto in his hometown of Sonora, Mexico. Learn how Osuna avoided the incredible danger that surrounded him growing up and how he defied the odds by becoming a major part of the Blue Jays pitching staff at the age of 20. You will not want to miss this. It premieres Saturday, April 2nd, 4 p.m. on Sportsnet. Buck, I've had a chance to see a preview of this, and just a fantastic job once again by the department, including Stephen Brunt.
Stephen Brunt does a terrific job on these documentaries, and he puts his heart and soul into it. It's an interesting story. Roberto Osuna, coming from a small town in the state of Sinaloa in Mexico, made an impact on the Blue Jays championship season. First pitch gets away from Tony Sanchez all the way back to the screen.
6th appearance for Roberto Osuna in this spring. Last time out against the Mets, he picked up the win. He gave up a run. He gave up a home run in that game, an inning, but he did pick up the win as the Blue Jays came back to win on the home run by Carrera.
Nevison Romero, the big first baseman, getting his second plate appearance. He reached on the fielder's choice in the 6th. Of course, the situation has not sorted itself out just yet as to who's going to be the closer in this bullpen. Osuna was the closer at the end of last season. did a terrific job into the postseason as well. Andrew Storen, he's got 95 career saves. A couple of big save seasons with the Nats. He is over, and both these guys are saying all the right things.
They're saying the right things, and Blue Jays are not tipping their hands on where they're going to go at the back end of the bullpen. I think for the Blue Jays' sake, the first piece of the puzzle, and Barry touched on it in the opening, what do you do with Aaron Sanchez? I think once Aaron Sanchez's role is defined by the Blue Jays, then the dominoes are all going to start to fall and the pieces are going to be put in place.
Yeah, and you can't really put that puzzle together until you know how you're going to sort out the big pieces. And I say big pieces, suggesting that Sanchez is one of those big pieces. So Osuna loses the first batter he faces here in the ninth. Leadoff walk.
Well, they have so many options, the Blue Jays. If Aaron Sanchez starts the season in the starting rotation, then you've got, I would assume that would mean Gavin Floyd would move to the bullpen. Then you've got a couple of long men there. So many different options, so many decisions to be made, big decisions.
Roberto turned 21 in February. Pitched all season a year ago as a 20-year-old, one of the most effective young closers in the franchise history. He had 20 saves. He appeared in 68 games through 70 innings, 69 and 2/3, and allowed just 48 hits.
Remember where we were a year ago at this time? They weren't sure what was going to happen with this pitching staff and where Roberto Osuna was going to fit in.
Well, what a difference a year makes. And everybody thinks about the end of the season, but the start of the season, there were so many question marks as they were getting ready to break camp. That sounds like a broken bat. Fields got a good read and comes in to make the catch. Roman Fields has moved from left to center. One down. That was the catcher, Carlos Corcoran. But last spring, Blue Jays broke camp with 6 rookies.
How many of them were pitchers? 4?
4 of them.
2 in the starting rotation, 2 in the bullpen.
Castro, Osuna, Norris, Sanchez, and where was the left-hander? Now I'm drawing him.
Pilar was another rookie last year, made the opening day, but he obviously he wasn't a pitcher. Norris?
No.
We mentioned Norris.
Colt Hines.
Colt Hines.
He broke with the club, didn't he?
Boy, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think he broke with the club. I'm not sure Pilar was a rookie. I don't think he was a rookie. I think he had enough plate appearances. But anyway, make point of this year they have experienced options to choose from. This is Vicente Conde, who took over after the third baseman, Robert Refsnyder, got hit on a bad hop base hit. A 3-3 ball game. Roberto Osuna in his first inning of work. This is the time when pitchers will throw back-to-back outings. Brett Cecil pitched last night. He was supposed to pitch in a minor league game this afternoon. Storen had done that with last night's appearance. That was his second of a back-to-back couple of games. And Osuna, I believe, will do it tomorrow as well. They'll get back-to-back outings, which will replicate what they might run into the first week of the season.
Might happen as the regular season gets going. See if you can bounce back from that and feel it. Every reliever has to do that before you leave spring training.
2-2 pitch. Changeup missed badly, and look out, they got the runner hung up and they throw it away. Romero thought it was ball 4, and he was walking to second, and they had him hung up between first and second, and Sanchez made a bad throw, threw it away.
Yeah, the base runner at first base lost track of the count. He thought it ball 4. There he goes. And then he is bailed out by a high throw by Sanchez down the right field line.
So that's the first air for the Blue Jays this afternoon. In the ninth air of the spring. They played great defense. So now the go-ahead run is in scoring position with one out. It's a full count to Vicente Conde. Bouncing ball up the middle. Gio Myers throws him out. Romero moves to third on the out.
Cost him a run earlier. A wild pitch, if you remember that, back in the sixth inning. It cost the Blue Jays a run, and Yankees scored on a ground out, and now that error could cost him a run. That was a double play grounder right there.
They had him hung up. They should have been able to get him in a rundown and get him out, but now 2 outs, and that ball gets away from Sanchez, and he grabs for it, and now he throws it away. Boy, what an odd way to score a run as Romero slides in at home plate. Looked like he got a fistful of dirt, mouthful of dirt.
Well, a lot happened here. First of all, the ball is just missed by Sanchez, and initially the runner was not going to go, but then when Sanchez went to reach for it, missed it, and then threw wildly, Romero can score the tie-breaking run. He had an interesting trip around the bases, didn't he?
Boy, didn't he? He wasn't even sure how many outs there were, and he goes and scores the go-ahead run. A leadoff walk, a couple of errors, a wild pitch, lots going on here. That ball is popped in the air, and it's going to be out of play. Pablo Torres.
Sanchez just missed that ball.
Yes, he did. Ball just sailed over his glove, hit him in the helmet. Two balls and a strike. Through the hole into left field by Ronald Torres.
And as soon as that ball made its way into left field, Roberto Osuna took a look at his hand, like the ball came out of his hand wrong, or he's got perspiration on his fingers. You could see him really trying to keep that hand dry. He's having trouble.
Very muggy day here. It was 27 degrees at the start of this ball game, and it was very humid. Still is. There are 2 outs. The ball that got away from Sanchez was strike 3. There goes the runner, swing and a miss, and there'll be no throw. So Torres picks up a stolen base after a 2-out single.
A lot happening on the bases this inning for the Yankees. Sanchez elects not to throw down to second base.
I don't think he got a grip on the baseball,
no.
And when he came up ready to throw, he chose not to make the throw. 4-3 New York. Ball in the dirt. Both clubs have committed 2 errors. Blue Jays 2 errors charged to Tony Sanchez here in the 9th. Pulled on the ground. Big hop for David Adams. And that'll do it. The Yankees are done in their half of the 9th, but they score a run aided by a walk and 2 errors. to you by Scott's Turf Builder Grass Seed with Water Smart Plus coating. Grows grass quicker and thicker. Guaranteed.
Aaron Hicks was acquired by the Yankees from the Minnesota Twins to do something like this. He had a career-high 11 home runs last season in 352 at-bats. This is his second home run this spring as he circles the bases, leading off this ball game with a home run.
Leading out with the bottom
So for the Blue Jays, it'll be Burns, and then Blue Jays need, I said Burns, it's David Adams to start things off here.
And this is Connor Malee. Pitched in 3 levels last season for the New York Yankees. A-ball, double-A, triple-A. Looking to close this one out.
First pitch strike as he jumps ahead of David Adams. Adams has had a good day against his former teammates. Played with the Yankees in 2013, his only big league experience. Adam Sanchez and Gio Meyer here in the ninth. Quick work of David Adams as Melee strikes him out looking.
3 sliders. Finish him off.
Connor Mully with a beautiful slider on the outside corner. One down. Tony Sanchez, the catcher. Grounded out to shortstop on the only pitch he has seen this afternoon. That came in the 7th off Diego Moreno.
Time for some redemption right here for Tony Sanchez. He was just happy to get that 9th inning over with and back in the dugout.
2 errors and a ball that got away on strike 3 has allowed the Yankees to take the lead here in the ninth. That's trouble. That's going to drop for a base hit. Drops in front of the left fielder.
There you go. Try to make some amends right there as he's going to be lifted for a pinch runner. Another slider. He catches just enough of the bat, just off the end of the bat. Muscles it down the left field line for a 1-out single.
DJ Davis has taken over as the pinch runner at first. Sanchez is out of the ball game.
He can run.
Gio Meyer getting his 4th plate appearance today. He has picked up a couple of hits. He's reached base all 3 times. Reached on an error in the 3rd, singled in the 5th, and doubled and drove in a run in the 7th.
I think if you're the Blue Jays, you got to take a chance here. You got some speed over there at first base. Take a shot at getting yourself into scoring position.
Meyer stole the base back in the 5th. Carlos Corcoran, the catcher that took over for the starter, Austin Romine, not on the same page with the pitcher. Brian Mitchell started for the Yankees, and he looked great. 4 innings of 1-hit shutout ball, didn't walk a batter and struck out 4. On the other side of the ledger, Jay Happ started for the Blue Jays, and he pitched a lot better than his final line score. He is charged with 3 earned runs on 5 hits over 6 innings, but he pitched well.
He had 14 in a row set down at one time. Total command. That one bad inning, the 5th inning, hit him in.
He got 14 ground ball outs, and he'll take that any day of the week. And of course, if you give up 3 runs over 6 innings with the Blue Jays, you're going to win a lot of games.
That's all it just keep it close with that offense.
Meyer is a former #1 pick of the Houston Astros, and in a very unusual development, he was sent back to AA last year and played at AA instead of the previous year where he spent at AAA. Of course, he's a shortstop, and shortstops in the Astros organization, they don't have much of a chance with that.
Not anymore.
Carlos Correa over there.
He's up with the big league team, and he'll be there forever. He's a special talent.
DJ Davis with a big lead at first. Not running. Look out. 1-1 count on Gio Meyer. Blue Jays are down by a run here in the 9th.
Good time to start the runner right
Get up,
here.
Connor. Let's go, bud.
Lee was thinking that they're going to start the runner as well, so he chases Davis back at first.
What, Gio? Stay on it, buddy. Let's go. Go after him now.
Pulled foul wide of third. 1-2 now to Meyer.
Right where you want him, Connor. Let's go, buddy. Take him out.
The Blue Jays will hit the road tomorrow, go down to Port Charlotte to take on the Tampa Bay Rays. They'll be back here in Dunedin on Monday afternoon against the Phillies. Wednesday is a big breaking ball and a strikeout. 2 down now.
Seen that a few times. If you face the New York Yankees and their bullpen and it's the 9th inning, you're probably going to see a few strikeouts.
Well, of course, they had the great combination a year ago, Dylan Betances and the left-hander Andrew Miller, and that has been fortified with the addition of Aroldis Chapman. A lot of punch-outs in that bullpen.
They had Justin Wilson last year. They traded him to the Tigers. Thought he did a really nice job pouring out of the pen from the left side.
Joe Girardi was talking about that earlier. He said, you know what, we had 3 great arms last year in the bullpen, and he included Wilson in that mix. Junior Lake.
Let's go, Yankees!
Beli's got a good slider. Uses it to get ahead of Lake.
How did the Yankees come up with these guys year after year? This is a 24th round draft pick with another really good arm.
Scouting and development. Boy, they've got some good young players, position players coming.
I read an article about that. Some of these position players, they're likening them to 20 years ago or so when you saw the great players, Derek Jeter and Bertie Williams, Posada, come out of that farm system. They had a nice run.
I saw Aaron Judge earlier in the spring. I was over there having a meeting with the Yankees, and he was putting his jersey top on. He had his shirt off. Oh, my goodness. He's 6'7".
Yeah.
Probably weighs 270, but he is a big man. Very talented. Blue Jays are down to their last strike. It's 1-2, 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th.
Come on, Yankees fans. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, Connor. Come on, Connor. You can do this, Connor. Let's go, buddy. That's your back.
called. Junior Lake takes the third strike. That ends the ball game, and the Yankees beat the Blue Jays 4-3. They scored a run on a couple of errors in the top of the ninth.
But the Blue Jays saw what they came to see, and they saw a good Jay Happ this afternoon. He pitches 6 innings for John Gibbons' team. I thought he was in total control, and really that second to the last start is your big tune-up before the season starts, and Jay Happ came through with flying colors.
We will be back on the air Friday night from the Big O in Montreal. The Boston Red Sox and the Blue Jays will have a 2-game series. It all begins Friday night at 7 Eastern. That's 4 p.m. Pacific. And then we'll do it again on Saturday afternoon. But it's been a great spring down here. This will be our final broadcast from Florida. We appreciate you watching. Tune in next Friday night from Montreal. Have a good evening, everybody, and happy Easter.